Hi there and welcome back to my little craft space. I'm about to finally make this gardening journal. I am so excited. It feels like a proper autumnal day today. It's overcast, it's chilly, I can see the orangey trees out there, and I've got my snuggly cardigan on. First time I've actually cardiganed up this season, so it feels really perfect. And look, I mean, this journal I'm about to make isn't actually meant to be an autumn one. It's a gardening one, but it just feels so autumnal, doesn't it? It's got all the vibes. I did create a video recently of making a kit in order to make this journal first. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link it below. Quite a nice chatty one, just how I sort of like create things. And I put together this whole bag of everything I want to use in this journal and more probably. I've just had a thought, actually, some nice doilies would be good, some fabric ones. I might go and find some of those, but I'm going to make this now. I'm going to do it all through, like from the start to the very end. We're going to add tab dots and just all loads and loads of fun stuff. Amazing textures and colours. I'm really excited. This tiny spine is about to become no more, and this is going to be my gardening journal. We've moved to a new build and it is a blank canvas, and Leanna in our group has inspired me to start one. She's working on her garden as well, so I'll be talking about the whole process of why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it as I create as well. So I'm excited to share more with you. So thank you for being here with me, and I really hope this video inspires you today. So Leanna, I want to say a big thank you to you for the inspiration behind this journal. I really appreciate it, and I'm very excited to get started. Now, when I started this, we had a little think about what to use, and I'm going to use this for the spine along with some plain as well. I decided to use this one. I've got to remember all the bits and pieces that I chose now, haven't I? And I think we said those. I love those, but I'm not going to do that one as well. Oh, and I had some of this as well. I've got a lot going on, haven't I? I really have. Right. I just don't want to forget all the ideas I had. I should have watched my other video. So, in case you are new to my channel, welcome. I love to turn, usually, vintage books into journals. However, this one was kindly sent to me by a friend. Sometimes I buy a new one if I see a cover that's really suitable, and I find it for a very good price. But this one was even better because it's a gift. It was gifted to me by a lovely friend, so it's got a special meaning behind it as well. Right, let's grab my crafty knives, and we are going to turn this into a journal. I'm just going to grab one actually so you can see the look I'm going for. This one is a recent one. This is a Snow White journal. These are some charms I made for some beer tops that I bought from the beers that we had. And you can see we've got a sticker that's come off. Pop that in there. I've made pockets and various bits and pieces, pom-pom trims and all that. So the journals are always slightly different, but that's the kind of thing that we're going for. So let's move out the way. I've got a piece of cardboard here that I'm going to use for my spine. I did actually struggle. Usually I like to find on Amazon, you know, like the envelopes, and I've pinned them all recently. You think I'd learn my lesson, wouldn't you? I must remember to keep those. That came up. I didn't quite expect that to come out that way. Usually, oh, this one is completely different. Usually they've got staples in. I've never had that happen before. That is so weird. Actually, I quite like it though, because I've got that showing. This is interesting. Okay, usually I pull them apart and they take a real tug, but they've got great big staples in. This one has no staples. This is the first time this has happened to me. I do quite fancy keeping the little golden bit, but this is lace, so that is going to show through a little bit. Okay, this could work really nicely actually. Let's tidy this up as well, because we want it to look a little bit tidy, don't we? The nice thing with this kind of thing, you don't need to panic too much because a lot of hiding, which is always good. Right, so let's just pop the pages to one side. We don't need those at the moment. We're going to focus on the spine, and we want to get this to the width that we want. I'm not going super thick on this one. This one's not going to be crazy chunky one. We do want it to be the same size, like that. Some of them I've made that are really, really wide. This one's just going to be a little bit. It is just about the garden. It's not going to have loads of signatures or anything like that. We're going to be sensible with this one. Okay, so I am happy with that. Just take off that. And it's not perfectly straight, which is fine. The important thing is to make a little gap between each one, because you're going to want to bend it. If it's too close and too tight, you're not going to be able to do that. Let's take some clear tape. This is my personal favorite way to do it. I've made a lot of these, and I think once you start, it's all a bit of a trial and error, and you take tips from one video and then you find something else out, and then you find actually that you find a way yourself to do something. There's a lot of trial and error doing this kind of thing, and you end up finding ways that suit you best. Whoops, that's gotten a little bit wonky. So just have a play and see what works best for you. Let's do this side as well. But yeah, what works great for one person may not be so great for another. And I don't think there's ever a right or wrong way. It's just finding a way that suits you. So here we go. That is good. That is our spine already. How quick was that? And as you can see, because we've got the little gaps that will bend, we've also got a little bit of give there because of the spine, because of the golden bit, which I quite like. That's it. Right, now let's move on to, the reason I'm doing this, I wouldn't usually add two, but because I've got this beautiful ribbon that Alison sent me from Australia. Isn't that stunning? I have the craft box underneath, so I don't want to see the joins. I want to keep it tidy. So I am going to add, this is the first time I'm doing this, we're going to add 2 layers. We're going to add the cream, and then just thinking how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to tuck it under slightly. I haven't actually planned this out. Right, so I'm just going to do it rough to start with and then tidy it up. I think that will be a good idea. And the nice thing about doing this kind of thing, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because we will be doing bits and pieces to it to help with the imperfections. So don't worry too much. I'm not like this crazy neat tidy person when it comes to things like this. I'm good at hiding, but I'm not good at being like a really tidy neat person. Okay, yeah, that looks okay. I think we can maybe try and straighten that very slightly because it's on the wonk a little bit there. See if we can take a little bit more out. Let me know if you love using golden books too. Is this your first time of thinking about it? There we go. That will be good. Now I am going to use, I love using this red tape for my fabric. I've tried other ways, but this way really suits me. It's not messy, it's easy. But I know some people love using glue, some people like using like adhesive sprays. So again, there's no right, no wrong way. It's just whatever suits you. I haven't tried the sprays, I have to say, but I've tried different glues and things, and this red tape has been the best. It's nice and sturdy. It really holds well. I think it was my friend Jackie that told me about this when we were at one of the create and craft shows. I'm going to fray off the edge. Sometimes I think it's easier to go with the frays rather than try and tidy them up. This one's already got them, so let's just add some more, and then it looks like it's meant to be. Right, I do want to try and use a little bit of the gold, or at least have it visible. So that's the plan with that. It's a shame to sort of cover it completely. And then, as you can see, that looks so much better like that. I think we're going to end up covering the gold. I could have removed it. I know some people do, but That's just the way it is. We're going to do that. So I am going to pop that on there. I think I might actually get the hot glue gun. Now this wasn't part of the plan, but I think usually I would just do the fabric in and out. But actually I am going to pop this in so it's nice and tidy. Let's just pull that over, and I'm actually going to add some scrapbooking paper over instead on this one here. I'm going to do this one a little bit different. Sometimes it's nice to vary them a little bit. Let's do that like that, and then we are going to, I'm going to keep this one again. I'm going to do this one slightly different. I'm going to cut this one to size and then stick it in. I think let's try this way, but I am going to add some trimming either side, because again we've got the bendy bits, and sometimes what can happen, because we've got two bendy bits here, we've got the original bend, but then we've also got that crease from the golden book. And sometimes what can happen is the paper then, because it's a small piece, it doesn't stick down that well, and it ends up flicking up no matter how much tape I put on. And again, maybe actually with an adhesive spray or glue, that problem might be eradicated, but doing it with tape and even adding glue afterwards, and sometimes even like hot glue gun, it still doesn't stick well, and I end up just with these tiny little bits that flick up, and it's so annoying. So I'm going to do it this way today, and let's see how this goes. Like I said before, as you'll find, it's trial and error, and each journal's slightly different as well, like me sort of being surprised that there were no staples in here, so it's pulled apart slightly differently. So you will find with each journal, whoops, that you do end up doing sometimes something a little bit different, which is quite fun because it's also nice to vary things. Otherwise each one would be exactly the same, which we don't always want either. Tell you what else I was going to do, and I haven't done. Am I adding, I would quite like to add the little charms. In that case I need to do that here. Let's just add a hole there. And just so you can see what I'm talking about, this is to add the little pin there, the little clip, so that you can add on your charms on the side. And if you can do this ahead of time, it makes it a lot neater, because I'm really good at forgetting this bit. So let's pierce this through. It's basically just like a drawing pin. I'll leave a link to everything I'm using down below, by the way, because I always get asked about what I use, and I'll leave Amazon links from my storefront down below. So now it's nice and tidy. Going to add a little bit of tape over that just to keep that tidy as well. It's obviously going to pop up a little bit. Being paper, it's not quite so forgiving, but we're also, don't forget, going to have our signatures in here, our pages, so that will also cover it up a little bit. Right, I haven't quite done it. Oh, actually that is okay. I think I will just trim that off just slightly. There we go. That looks nice and tidy, and I know I've still got those messy bits on the side, so I will end up putting like ribbon or something like that over it, but at the moment, for now, that looks nice and tidy, and we've got that bit there, so I'm happy with that. Oh blast, you know what I've done? I've still done that wrong, because I want to add the lace over the top. I always leave my mistakes on as well, by the way, just so you can see and learn from my mistakes. Right, we're gonna have to put this in afterwards, aren't we, because it needs to go through both sets. Let me know if you were screaming at the screen to remind me. I'd completely forgotten. There was me thinking, oh, I haven't forgotten it this time. Now we have two choices. I could do it like that, and I have got enough to go inside. I personally think though it's so beautiful, I don't want to use it inside. It's so pretty. I want to save some of it, so I'm going to cut it and then I can use it on something else, on another project. There, that's what I would do. Now I'm going to grab my hot glue gun and place the glue down the sides. I think this is going to be the best way to do this. And we're going to do it on either side. I need to get it on there while it's still nice and hot. Try and do it so it's equal. There. And because it's like chiffon-y type, it is going through slightly, so I have got wet fingers slightly, but I just want it to stay in place. And then with the idea being that we can then pop that either side. Probably tape would work with this as well, actually. Let's keep that like that, and hopefully that will hold. A little bit more, and again this side. Let's add a little bit more that time. And again, don't forget we will be sewing in the papers, so that will be nice and tidy. That is pretty, isn't that beautiful? And it goes with the journal so well. I know we've got these pieces, so we do need to tackle that, but it is in place. I'm really pleased with that. I'm just going to clean off my fingers because I've got loads of dry glue on them at the moment. And now, oh, I've just done that again actually, haven't I? Let's pull that back because I want to be able to pop this through. Let's find the hole where I added it. There we go. And this can then, let's try again. There we go. That is so much better. I'm really chuffed with that. I want to remember now what it was, how I was wanting to do this. I really love this bit here, but at the same time this is really pretty. Do I do that? Do I do that? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that actually. And stick that down there. That's what I think I'm going to do. I think I am going to add a couple of little clips just to, actually I can fold it back. There we go, that's even easier. And we're going to say goodbye to the gold. That's fine. I've got it showing on loads of others. It doesn't have to be on every single one. And like I said, sometimes it's nice to do them a little bit different and make them a little bit unique. So I really love this ribbon trim. I want to try and get it equal. Let's try and get it so it doesn't cover up that W. That is pretty. There we go. And that then will sit nicely over there. But what I am going to do is add some glue just on the inside of there to stick that down. And I'm going to do exactly the same here, because when the journal is moved, it's going to start sticking up, and we don't want that. We want it to stay nice and tidy, because also as well, when things start to shift and that's when things get damaged. So there we go, that has worked out really nicely. And I am going to do exactly the same on this side as well. Let's tuck that up. There we go. This is where we are at so far. I really, really love this pom-pom trim. It's quite almost like, I think it must have wire in it. I was originally thinking down there, but I think I might actually add it to the spine there. Again, it's just making it a little bit different to my usual journals. I think if I can always do something on them, each one that's just slightly different, just so they look a little bit unique. And I haven't done this before, so I really like that idea. That's one side. And let's add some over here as well. I'm really happy with this. I think it looks really, really pretty. Thinking about it, maybe what would have been the best thing would have been to have done a hidden spine where you actually hide the bindings, but I haven't done that, so we're just going to go with this now. There we go. And again, I love adding texture, so for me that's just another nice little bit of texture. I'm going to leave it at that for now for the spine. I'm really happy with that. I will be adding pom-pom trims and things. I would like to add something here just to make it a little bit prettier. I did have this, and again I'd sort of visualize sort of doing something, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm happy with this, but I may well use it in here. I'm going to find some trimming. Let's see what I've got in here. I need something a little bit wider. I've tried washi tape before, but again it curls up a little bit, so I want something just a little bit thicker. I did try this, but that's not quite thick enough. I've actually just found some really good ribbon. The colours go really well. That is a really nice width. Let's go with this one. Let's cut it exactly to the same. This stuff is so old. This has been in my stash for goodness knows how long. 2008. And I probably did buy it about that time because I used to always buy the stuff when it was released. So yes, I've had that a long time. Right, I'm just going to, because I want it to stick both sides, I'm going to put a generous amount of glue on, because I really want this to stay in place, and it will just keep it nice and tidy. There, I might just have to trim the top at the top there, but that's absolutely fine. And again, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm really getting through this glue today. Put that on there. But it's amazing, sometimes you don't have to be terribly neat and tidy, because all these little things, not only do they cover up all the bits that look just a little bit on the messy side, but they really add to the journal as well. So it's definitely worth it. It ends up looking so pretty. And again, don't worry too much, because we are going to have papers in here as well. Right, I'm going to make sure that's stuck on there, and then I can just trim the top to keep that nice and tidy. There, look how neat that looks. So we're now going to move on to the signatures. I am so loving how this is looking. It's so, so pretty. Let's pop that over to one side. And basically, I want to create my pages. Right, I'm going into the kit now. These are all bits and pieces that I put together. And I want to make the pages to go inside. I think I'm going to do 2 signatures. The signatures are the pages that go inside. So I've collected these bits. Just checking that's everything that I've got. So let's have a little look. I'm liking to keep the pages plainer these days. I used to like do all patterned papers, which are lovely, but sometimes you're not in the mood for those, so I try and keep them plainer. So just to show you, I've got like an old exercise book. I picked these up in a flea market. There is actually one this weekend, which I quite fancy going to. I'll see what the weather's like. This one is from an old gardening book, which is perfect for what we're doing about. I'll probably need to trim these down. And this one's from the same gardening book. I think these are really good. They're perfect. And then I've got an exercise book here as well. So let's have a little look to see. Yeah, I think we'll do 2. I was originally going to do 3, but I think I'll just do the 2. let's have a look size wise. That actually is a really good size. So I think what I will do is trim all of these down so that they are the same size as that, because we've also got that here, but I think I might fold them so that they fold out slightly. I think that would be really fun rather than cut them all down. So let's do that in halves. I don't think we need to really move, no, we don't need to remove too much at all. I'd rather take a little bit extra. What we don't want is to have it hanging out of the journal. There we go. Bin or junk pile? What would you do with those little bits? I've just thrown them in the recycling bin. Oh, I've got this one as well. Yeah, I'm going to need to trim that one. This was from some Korean exercise books in a car boot sale. They were 20p each. It's amazing what you can find. Right, so now we need to get ready and start making these. So I think I'm just going to make 2 piles and put them in. I do quite like that one at the front actually. No, I'm going to do it, pop it in as like one of the first pages. And I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side and just pop them together like that. They come together really quickly. And I don't want this to be a massive journal, just purely because I don't think there's going to be loads and loads to do. But I want to have enough pages to sort of like play with and do stuff with. I'm going to put these different ones in the middle. There we go. So these are my 2 signatures. And then, like I said, I can fold the pages. So that's nice and easy. These are going in here. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's quite a few pages there. This should keep me busy. I completely forgot. I've got the pages from the actual book as well. Yeah, see, look, these are sewn in. I have never seen that with a little golden book before. I completely forgot about these. I'm just going to unstitch them like this so that then I can open them out. In some ways this is easier. I don't know, the staples, they can damage the book a little bit when you pull them out, but then once you've done that, the book then is just in separate pieces, so that makes it very easy. This now should, oh, I quite like that actually. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to include every single book page. I'm just going to include the ones that kind of look quite sweet. I quite like that. Yeah, that one's a really nice one. I don't want too many illustrations, to be honest. I do quite like that as a very first one. I like that. And I quite like that one as well, actually. See, this I'm not fussed with, but I can cover that up. Wonders of Nature. I love that one. That one's really nice. So I'm going to pop that one in there. And again, I'm not fussed about the sea life, but we can cover that up. And then I'll include a couple. No, I like that one. I'm not actually fussed with many of these, to be honest. So the best way to make your signature holes is to cut a piece of paper the same size as your spine. You've probably seen me do this loads of times. And this helps you get everything into the right place. And it's so easy. You just need to fold that in half. Fold these over into the center like that. and then fold that over again, and we're going to do exactly the same again. Fold the ends into the center, and then that way you've got all the lines there, and you can mark off where you want to do your holes like that. Obviously, if you have more, you can do more. You can add a center one, you could do the ones on the end, and then that's when you have your binding. So I've done the 3 there. So I've got 3 signatures in. This time I'm just doing the 2. And the best way to do this is to clip this in place, making sure I've done this before and it hasn't been quite in place. So hopefully that's right. And then we are going to grab the little pokey tool. Now the nice thing is when you've got paper, you can really see if it's straight or not, but I'm not going to be able to see this in here because I've got one over there and one there. They're not very central at the moment. Right, I'm going to have to rejig this slightly. Maybe it needs to come over. I struggled with this one actually because I can't really see it. I've tried to make some holes and some marks on the other side. I've decided to use this colour thread. I think this goes well with the garden theme. This is like a waxy thread, and I bought these as a pack on, here they are. These ones I bought as a pack. These I actually got with my binding set here, which I'll leave a link to, and I'll leave a link to these as well. I've tried normal thread and it ended up breaking. 1, 2, and you want to do 2 and a bit for both. And then you've got plenty left over. This, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out because I'm really struggling to see it. Let's take a needle. It could well work out really wonky. So fingers crossed. Let's have a think and see what it's like. Right, so I'm going to start in the middle here.
So I personally find it easier to mark out the holes first and make sure that they're nice and straight. Then I like to line up my signatures. These are all pretty much the same size as in height wise, so that makes it a lot easier. Sometimes I do tape them together using a little bit of washi tape. I did originally, this is my take 2, I did originally use the template, sewed them in, and I forgot I'd added the signatures. This is always the problem when I'm chatting on a video. I completely forget my way sometimes, and I'm so focused on the video that I kind of forget things. So I switched it off and just focused on what I was doing. Now I am piercing through my signature, my pages, and going through them in sort of like stages. I prefer to do it this way. I find it a lot easier rather than trying to do the whole lot going through the signatures straight through the journal spine. I like to do it through the pages like this and then make my way through the spine, and I find this way works a lot better for me. Checking each time just to make sure I've gone in at the right way. I've done it before and I've ended up with crooked signatures before. By the way, the word signatures, I know I've been asked about this before, and I know it means to write your name, and people have said that to me before, but the word signature also means the little booklet, the pages, the collection of pages inside your journal as well. So if you've got 2 signatures, which I have here, that means 2 lots of your pages that go inside. Sometimes you may have just the 1, sometimes you may have 3, 4, 5, however many, but it means the actual collection of pages inside your journal. So as you can see here, I'm focusing. This one has been my trickiest one to date, just purely because I can't really see because of the way that the kind of ribbon lace is on the spine. It's made it quite tricky. So just by focusing and concentrating, I can work it out to go through the holes. I don't seem to have a particular order in which I do this, whether it be top, middle, bottom, or whatever. It seems to vary each time. I got myself a little bit caught up, ended up going through the thread at this point. but most things are very easily fixable. If you make a mistake, you can unpick it and try again, and then I just tie it in the middle so it's nice and secure, and I can see here that it's straight. You can see here I had a few goes. I really struggled with this one, and like I said, the first time I'd actually sewn them in and completely forgotten about the signatures as well. But don't worry, it usually works its way out, and the thing to remember is that once you've got your signatures in, you're not really going to notice the spine too much anyway, because everything covers them. So don't panic too much, and it's not the end of the world. It's only paper, so don't get yourself stressed about it. I realized that my pages were just poking out over the top just slightly here, so I'm just trimming them down. And in fact, even when I popped them in and I'd finished sewing them, they were I just felt that they needed just shortening off slightly on the bottom, so I individually trimmed them off as well, and that worked absolutely fine. So I'm doing the second ones now, and again, just really focusing, making sure that they are in straight, and going through one stage at a time, just doing it really slowly, really sort of like carefully, and checking as you go along. I like to mark out the holes, as you can see, and I do this completely different to how I did when I first started. If you look back on some of my other videos of me making these journals, I used to clip them in, and I did it in such a different way, but I often used to work out with wonky pages, whereas this way just tends to work out so much better. Remember what I said before about finding your own way, and I think this is the case. There is no right or wrong way, but you'll end up finding your way, and this may change from time to time as well, but just sort of like work out what works best for you.
And then I'm just going to tie up this last one into a bow, and I have done my signatures. I will confess, this has been the hardest one that I've done. It's been really difficult. Now what I want to do, because obviously the pages are too long, so we are going to fold them in, and we can do this in different ways. But obviously they are just a little bit, I'm just wondering if I can get creative at all. No, I'm just going to do like that, I think. Let's make a larger one on this one. I'll do like a half one. This is starting to look so much fun. One of the other things I haven't done, now we have two options here. We have got the pages from the actual book that are sitting out just a little bit too much. We can either leave them, because I do love things that hang out of books. We can either fold them in slightly. We could add pom-pom trim to them and actually turn them into lace, and things like that would look really nice. Or we trim some. I'm going to leave some of them out because I really like them. I'm going to trim this one slightly with a ruler. I'm going to do the same with this one. I love that rough torn edge there. I might just take the edge off that one as well. I don't want to take anything off the woodpecker. I think even that little bit would help. I'm going to leave that one and put a pom-pom trim on that one. To take some off this one. There. It's just that one there. Actually, I am going to do the same. I was going to add some pom-pom trims, but I'm not. I think I will do that like that. And the same here as well. There, that looks nice and neat. I'm just trying to decide what I would like. This kind of goes with the pink. Quite like the blue, but I used the blue one on my Snow White. The green, I've got some like greeny yellow. I might actually go with the lace. I think that will look really cute on the outside. It's a little bit stretchy as well. So I just like that kind of cute edging on a journal. I think it really makes a difference. So I'm just going to add this on here. And pop the trim right on the end so that it peeps out, and sticks that on there. There we go. Let's have a look. That is cute. Let's remove the glue. That is really, really sweet. And I'm even wondering, I think I might even pop that little bit of ribbon down the side just to finish it off. I think that could look really sweet as well. Let's try and get that as close to the edge as possible. There. Look how pretty that edging is, and then it looks pretty on that side as well. I'm going to do exactly the same on the reverse. That was absolutely the right choice to make. I am so pleased with that. It looks so cute. Now, something I was excited about with this journal here was creating the charm to go in it. You may remember I found these cones. I found some butterflies off some candles that I bought, and I found some other bits and pieces as well that I thought would be really, really cute to go on my, I think that was it, on my charms. And I've also got some wool as well. So this is what I was thinking of for my charms. Let's see if I can lay this flat. And then what we are going to do is hang this from here. That's the bit that clips on and off, because when we're doing our journaling it doesn't lay very well when you've got that on. I also really love the idea of these beads. I'm going to break this. I haven't worn beads for so long, but I've got a lot of them, so I'm going to use these today as well. Use some of this because I really want to include these. So let's tie the wax thread to the book ring. These will just easily clip on like that, or thread on I should say, and then what we're going to do between each one is tie a little knot so that it doesn't fall all the way down. It keeps them slightly separated, and then I can always tie some of the wool in a bow at the top if I wanted. There we go, that will stay there. And let's do one of the silver ones, and we're going to add our beads on like this to make our charms, and it's going to look really, really cute, and it's really going to suit this book really, really well. So basically I was talking about the journal before, and I want to include photos of how our garden is right now, and I want to document the different changes throughout the seasons, and just different things that we end up making, and just, I might put those on the end actually, and document the process as it goes, just so that we can see the changes as they come. And what I really liked with Leanna's was that she's doing herself monthly to-do lists as well, and I thought that was such a good idea. I'm going to actually tie this one on here rather than it just hang. I think this one needs just a little bit more, that's better. And I really liked that idea. I thought that was such a sweet idea to do to-do lists, and I think that's something that may actually help us with our garden. But you can also document like seeds when you've planted them, pop the seed packets in there. You could document different things that you've tried as well, things that maybe haven't worked. I thought that would be really fun, just to keep a really good story of the process of your garden. So that's what I'm planning to do, and I'm really excited about it. We've never really bothered with our garden before. We've grown vegetables and things. We had a really good vegetable garden at one point in our old house, but we haven't done anything with this garden yet. And I think also for things that don't go right as well, like we've had a really big slug problem in our garden here. So maybe different things that you try, and if they don't work, it would be good to document things like that as well. Oh, I was going to do one of the butterflies at the end, wasn't I? I just remembered. Let's see if that will work. I thought that would be really fun to have that hanging. Very fiddly, that's for sure. There we go. There we go. There is our first one, and I'm going to do exactly the same again.
If you would like to see more about making a charm and some other ideas, I've actually got whole videos making them, so I'll link down below. I found this little cone set. I think it was like a gift topper on a Christmas gift, and I thought with it being like my gardening journal, it would be absolutely perfect. So I grabbed some red ribbon which matched the title to tie it on. But when it comes to adding your charms, you can add absolutely anything. I've got pieces of games, and you can also do things like add little hooks for things so that you can tie them on. So if something isn't tie-onable or thread-onable, you can make it that way. But I've taken apart bracelets and necklaces. I've got buttons on some of mine, like I said, little bits of toys. Things like Scrabble tiles are really fun. You can pretty much attach most things, and it just makes it really fun. I love beads, I love embellishments, that kind of thing. I also found, I don't know if you can see, I've got there's a little flip-flop on here which was from one of my wedding bracelets. I've got a little clay piece here that a friend made for me. It just makes them quite personal.
This journal, look how cute that is. I have tied those little cones. They were on a gift, and I am loving these charms. I wanted to add some tabs to these. I'm actually going to use some of the papers here that I'm not as fussed with. I really like this one. But I'm just thinking the colours will actually go really, really well. So I'm going to use my tab top punch. Oh, that didn't go so well. I have to just cut that. It's the first time that hasn't worked very well. These colours are really pretty, actually. What I'm going to do, I think, is just staple these to the tops of some of these pages. I think these will look really nice. I always like having things, I think I need to lay that down to do that. I always like to have bits and pieces like this popping out over the top. There we go. Let's do that one. Maybe I need to sharpen my punch here. I've got a few of them actually. And you could do this with magazines as well if you wanted. Just going to pop them, some on the top and some on the side. I've got some coloured little staples as well. Do exactly the same here. I'm really looking forward to working in this. I will be doing a video soon, just setting it up and starting some pages because I want to get started as soon as possible. We want all the befores and afters in, don't we? It's quite cool actually doing the book pages. I like that idea. Let's add some more of these. The green looks really pretty. One down there. And I've got one more here as well. Put this one on there. There we go, just to add a few little bits and pieces. And I'm going to do a few on the sides as well. Actually, with this one, I'm going to add some fabric too. So these are just all scraps. I'm just going to add a few little bits on the side. And I have finished. Let's move this. I'm not going to do pockets or anything like that because I will do them as I make it. But here is the finished journal with the really cute little spine. I love that. I'm so happy with how that has turned out, and all bits from a bracelet and bits and pieces. Like I said, these were from a candle, and this was actually a gift topper for me, given to me by a friend. I love how this turned out. I love the lace on the back, the pom-pom trim, the little lace trimming there as well. It is such a pretty journal, and I've added all the little pieces of fabric at the top. This folds out. I think it is a really, really lovely journal. I'm looking forward to working in this one. I think it's going to be lots of fun. I'm loving all this sort of like natural colours as well. Let me know what you think. Are you inspired to start something similar as well? Do you also want to make a gardening journal, or just the theme of the journal, sort of like the nature theme? Is that something that excites you and something that you would like to do? Or is it the folded pages that you really like, something that you want to introduce to the next journal that you make? I'm really chuffed with this. I'm glad I didn't cut the pages down. It just gives you a bit more choice, doesn't it? I'm really pleased with this. I think this is going to be a really fun journal, and it may be that it continues over quite a few years. The baby page I will end up covering up, obviously, because that's nothing to do with the garden at all. But yeah, I think this will be one that continues over the years, something that is really important to do, and I'm going to do it right now so I don't forget. I am going to write the date on here. So this little golden book belongs to Aid and Lisa. I always end up making a mistake when I write something. There. What I could do is there, some little flowers. There's always a way, isn't there, of making something work. I have thoroughly enjoyed this today. I really hope you've enjoyed this as well. And now you know what I'm like. I can't have something on one side and not on the other. Let's just colour that in. Our garden. There we go. I'm really excited to do this. I really hope you're excited to follow along with this journal. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are leaving feeling inspired. Let me know what is the next journal, or what is your current journal you're working on. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.